copper-colored brown races have the genetics of the most ancient church, the Adam root race. Others have the genes of a younger race, even the mixture. The man with the genes of the most ancient church was given lordship over all things. But at this present day, he has fallen into a deep sleep, and while he sleeps, his house is in disarray. 2 Ezra 6:54, and after these, Adam also whom thou madest Lord of all thy creations, of him we all come, and the people also whom thou hast chosen. Thou, meaning the Lord Thoth Melchizedek, the Adam race, meaning the copper-colored brown race. Adam and the pre-Adamites. Adam or Adama was a generic term, meant not one man, but a race of man which was reddish in color. Race of man meaning male and female. Many of the modern races of man, brown races, and certain branches of the red race derived from this original root race. In Adam's fallen state, the Lord Thoth Melchizedek, Yehovah, made many attempts to wake Adam's posterity out of their slumber and their attachments to the lifestyle of other nations while fornicating with other gods. But caught deep in the realm of chaos without the wisdom of Miriam the spirit, who has retreated to the wilderness or the marshes, and without the wisdom of Sophia, who was trapped in the chaos of the archons, the Adam race did not transmute this darkness in all its forms. They were transformed by it, thus becoming a lawless bunch. Numbers 12:10, and the cloud departed from off the tabernacle. And Miriam became leprous, she became sick. And Aaron, which is the will, looked at Miriam and beheld that she was sick. That divine connection to all things of creation, which the most ancient church had been connected to, which was inhabited by the Adam race, that had been cut off. And that type of knowledge was provided to them by the Holy Spirit, that divine connection to the Akashic records, the celestial library. Now that connection had become sick and died within the time of Set, or the Dark Ages, or the Iron Age. Revelation 12:6, and the woman, being the Holy Spirit, fled into the wilderness in this case being a spiritual place. It continues, where she has a place prepared of God. She had returned back to the Trinity. The Holy Spirit had descended below to give man the consciousness or the knowledge of all things. But at the time of Set, she had to retreat, only to return again in the time of Osiris, or the time of light. The Book of the Dead of the Egyptians fortifies this notion. After the burial of Osiris, which is light, Isis, now playing the role of the Holy Spirit, retreated to the marshes in the delta. Again, the delta is a triangle. She returned back to the Trinity. And there she brought forth Horus. At the transition period, Horus, which is supposed to be the Messiah, become that Jesus that you expect. She will bring forth that being at that time when that return of Christ consciousness comes back on the earth. When she returns after she had been gone for 7 days. 7 days is rounding up from 6,480 years of the dark age from the time of Set. Though this bunch, which is the Adam race, was particularly chosen by the Lord from a particular vine, chosen from the earth, which is America, from among all other lands of this world in this cycle. As Ezra also makes it very clear that the references of earth and world in the Bible are two different things. The earth is speaking particularly of the landmass called the United States of America today. When it speaks of the world, it's speaking of the whole globe or the old plane, whichever one you want to call it. The Adam race, now a lawless and ungrateful, stiff-necked bunch who have lost themselves by jumping headfirst into chaos and darkness, then losing themselves. Fourth book of Ezra. O sovereign Lord, from every forest of the earth and from all its trees you have chosen one vine. And from all the lands of the world, you have chosen for yourself one region. Combine this again with 2 Ezra 6:54. And after all these, Adam also, whom thou madest Lord of all creatures, of him come we all, and the people also whom thou have chosen. So Ezra makes the distinction between earth, which is America, versus the other 6 land masses, creating the 7 continents. Turtle Island. Turtle Island is the name of Earth, or North America, used by the indigenous people. Chaldean history. Using other words than the first time, one which means earth in general, in opposition to the earth, Adama, or fruitful land in the east of Eden. in which Adam and Eve dwelt after their expulsion. Adam and his posterity has taken no responsibility for their deeds. The amount of time the Bible described the Lord reproving the Israelites and redirecting them only for them to break law again is countless, which led Melchizedek, your Lord, to turn in his face from his flock. And he will only turn his face back to them when they have turned their thoughts back to him and turned their faces also back to him. Deuteronomy 31:17, then my anger shall be kindled against them in that day, and I will forsake them, and I will hide my face from them, and they shall be devoured, and many evils and troubles shall befall them, so that they will say in that day, are not these evils come upon us because our God is not among us? You see, the issue is most of the time they're telling you this is of the past. This is telling you of a cycle before, reflecting what is going to happen in our present time and happening to our people. This is what is happening to us today. So the question as to why in these 400 years we have gone through affliction, this is giving you your answer. 2 Chronicles 7:14, if my people, which are called by my name, shall humble themselves and pray and seek my face, meaning you don't know him yet, and turn from their wicked ways, then I will hear from heaven, and I will forgive their sin, and I will heal their land. This is why many of you have come back into the consciousness that you are not from Africa, and your land has been stolen from you, and your land has been polluted. It was once a fruitful place, and the heathens have destroyed it. But until those people return to their Lord, the land will not be restored. What was our people doing? Judges 2:11. And the children of Israel did evil in the sight of the Lord, and they served Balaam, meaning the priest of Mahan, Leviathan. These are the orders of our society, which has given us the images to worship and turned our faces from God. And their secret orders in which our athletes, our priests, our actors, they all join, in which they influence us to follow. Judges 2:13, and they, the copper-colored race, forsook the Lord and served Baal and Ashtaroth. You began to serve Lucifer, serving his images. Judges 3:7, and the children of Israel did evil in the sight of the Lord and forgot the Lord their God. So when you call in Jesus, you think you call in the Lord. No, you forgot your Lord. And you began to serve Balaam and groves, because those images that were given to you in the Catholic Church, they all come from Lucifer. All those images given to you, whether it be a white Jesus or a black Jesus, they are all idol worship. Those do not come from the Most High God, and they do not come from his emissary, Thoth Melchizedek. They come from Benelli, Balaam, the priest of Mahan, and they come from Leviathan. These are the secret orders, the secret societies, and the evil sanctuaries. Jeremiah 9:4, but the children of Jacob have walked after the imagination, the ideas, the schemes, the will, the images, the opinions, and the plans and the plots of their own heart. You began to serve yourself, your own inventions. You discarded the law and decided to go on your feelings, your own inventions, your own thoughts, and your own doctrines. And then you began to seek after Balaam, which their fathers taught them. All of you went into the church, and your belief in that image that they gave to you was passed down by your fathers and your mothers before you. You did no research. You did not seek the face of the Lord. You inherited your belief. Judges 8:33. And it came to pass, as soon as the Gideon was dead, and that the children of Israel turned again and went whoring after Balaam and made Baalberth their god. Again, you turned to the images of Jesus, or the Messiah that man had given you, and you began to worship him again. Judges 10:6, and the children of Israel did evil again in the sight of the Lord, and served Balaam and Ashtaroth, and the gods of Syria, and the gods of Zidon, and the gods of Moab, and the gods of Ammon, and the gods of the Philistines, and forsook the Lord and served not him. Some of you leave the shackles of the church and jump into the prison of another. You leave the church and you realize Jesus that they're giving you is not the Lord. Then you jump in the conscious community and they make you the Lord. You are the Most High God. Or you say the universe is God. You give him no name. Names are important. It is the frequency of the Most High God that his children are to attach to. Some of you take it a little further and you go into witchcraft. Those pantheons of the voodoo gods, those become your gods. Some of you take on the Yoruba tribes, and those pantheons becomes your gods. The Santerias, those gods become your gods. This is what Judges 10:6 is saying. You have moved from God to God to God to God to God, and you, the children of Israel, refuse to seek the face of your Lord, Thoth Melchizedek. Then we ask this repetitive question, why have we been afflicted for 400 years? A great deal of that affliction began Semites upon Semites, or Canaanites upon Semites. The Caucasian affliction of the Semites was hundreds of years later. The Lord's grace was removed from his people, and he first used his people against his own people, and then later he used another people to apply their punishment. I say people because the Bible refers to my people over 217 times. The Bible states it very clear that the heathens know not God. This is because the quality of spirit and the grade of their particular vessel which they inhabit. Also its potentiality to conduct light, which is essentially God. The heathens are filled with concupiscence and sin, which is imbalance. This sin or infraction blocks the ability of the soul and the body to process light, instruction, or influx from God. Unlike the Adam race, they are further from spirit. Their mediator, or Adam, in this case, is to teach them, as air is the mediator between fire and water. 1 Thessalonians 4:5, not in the lust of concupiscence. Even the Gentiles know not God. The Book of Mormon, 3 Nephi 15 and 22, for they supposed it had been the Gentiles. You, the Adam race, the copper-colored people they call black now, you thought it was the Gentiles were those people. No, it's you. But the Gentiles should be converted through their preaching. You are supposed to teach the Gentiles the scriptures. 3 Nephi 15 and 23, and the Gentiles not at any time should hear my voice. The Bible is the book from the mouth of the Jew. Now water's nature is cool. The man up north, Japhet. Fire's nature is heat. The man of the south, Ham. Air's nature is temperate, Shem. They originally inhabited the temperate zones. This is why Thoth Melchizedek made the decree to his people, Shem, do not give my secrets to the man of the north or the man of the south. Emerald tablets, betray not my secrets to the man of the north or the man of the south, lest my curse fall upon you. And it surely did. These people, called wicked or heathens when given the power without the dominion of the mediator or the law-given Adam race, will and did change the faces of the judges, your leaders, who were your forefathers, eventually eliminating them and you from the books of history today, and even in the Bible, from the mouth of the Jew. But this was part of the punishment of our transgressions. The earth was given into the hands of the wicked. He covered the faces of the judges thereof. The heathens devoured the remnant of Adam, and fashioned them with the ideas that they were nothing but slaves, being erased and blotted out of history, becoming a servant to those you once ruled. Well, the book of Lamentations gives us more context as to the position of the Hebrews before being handed over into the hands of those who were once their servants. While Isaiah looks into the future at the end of a punishment or affliction when the Hebrews regain connection to the divine and possess those who once possessed them. Lamentations 5 and 7, our fathers have sinned and are not, and we have borne their iniquities. Lamentations 5 and 8, servants have ruled over us. There is none that does deliver us out of their hand. Isaiah chapter 14, for the Lord will have mercy on Jacob, and will yet choose Israel, and set them in their own land. And the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. You will get back your land, and those who once ruled you will have to cleave to you. And the people shall take them and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord, which is America, and possess them for servants and handmaids, and they shall take them for captives, those whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors. This is at the time of the transition period.
Unite with the Most High. Unite with the Most High. Love your neighbor. Do charity. Do charity. You're stinking rich and you still can't live in peace. The world made for we, not for me. Not for me. You say I obey your salt, but at the path where you walk, reaping a light, but you live in the dark. Charity before faith, love from the heart. But I know that you want. You're contrary to God and nature. Me run past spiritual, me celestial. You walk behind the part of your deeds. No man escape the turn of the karma wheel. Every day judge a test me, obstacles no best me. Blind to the money and anything with sexy and bless me. I reward who believe in me.